Hello, everyone. My guest today is Raj Sheth. He's the co-founder and CEO of Recruiterbox, a SaaS recruiting software with over 2,100 customers. He works with a team of over 35 people across 2 countries and has bootstrapped the company over the past 6 years. He's also the author of Prepare a Hiring Guide for Founders and First-Time Managers. Raj, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So you're based in San Francisco and you're bootstrapped. How do you resist the urge, the funding urge?
So when we first started, my co-founders and I were asking how we would raise funds, right? Because it just seems like to do anything, to hire people and to do paid marketing, of course, it's going to take money. And we always believe that sequentially we'll need to spend money first before we can make any revenue and grow further, etc. But we could very early on, we started making a little bit of revenue. So we figured out the revenue first and we started learning from that revenue. And then we were asking ourselves, well, we should only raise money if money becomes a bottleneck to what we have clearly figured out. And every 6 months and every year, it felt like, well, we haven't really clearly figured out, what we're trying to innovate here, etc. And we need to learn a little more. And before you know it, we 2-3 years down the line, we hit that first million and then 2 million. And then pretty much we were like, we should only raise money. And we continue saying that right now. We're not like flag bearers for bootstrapping or anything. We continue saying that we should only raise money if money becomes a bottleneck to what we truly need to do. And right now it seems like we are fine. And it's just taught us to be more efficient.
And you mentioned you kind of blew past $1 million and $2 million in ARR. What are you at today? What are you past?
We are in the midpoint on the journey towards 10. So we're in mid single digit millions.
Yeah. That's got, so can we put a range and say between 4 and 6? Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay,
yes.
Good. And give me more of the history here. Put some timestamps on this stuff. So when was year 1?
Year 1 was 2012. So 2011 is when we put this out. And we had probably 20 customers in 2011.
And
right?
How much revenue in year 1? Do you remember?
Yeah, 2011 was just 30,000 total annual.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right? And how many of you guys were you supporting on 30 grand? How many founders?
We are 3. We were 3. And we were only 3. We didn't have any other employees. And it worked out well because one of my co-founders is a back-end engineer. The other one is a front-end engineer and designer. And then I was doing all the marketing, sales, and support. So we kind of just carried it on our back, 3 of us.
That's great. And what year did you pass the $1 million in ARR rate?
2014.
2014. Okay, so from nothing to $1 million in ARR in about 2.5, 3 years, it's pretty healthy, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we would do it faster if we had to do it again.
Yeah, of course. And can you give us a sense of current growth? So we just mentioned you're now between 4 and 6, but where were you a year ago?
So a year ago, we were roughly at about 2.7, 2.8.
So healthy growth. I mean, you're almost doubling, or maybe are doubling year over year.
Yeah, and of course, of a higher base, it gets a little difficult. And like once you get into the specifics of it, we had a lot of these little customers paying, in ticket size, paying us, a monthly subscription.
How much? Like, what's a little?
$80 to $100 a month.
Okay, is that still?
So no. So this is the most interesting arc that we've been on over the last 1 year. See, what we realized is I used to always identify ourselves with that, hey, we are kind of like a constant contact or an intuit in the sense that we get 100,000 of these guys to pay us $100, right? And to be honest, what I realized is it's not just about revenue or getting to that number. In itself, that's not the goal. But let's assume that all of us are doing this because, we are trying to solve a problem uniquely that, nobody, at least we have a unique vantage point and hopefully it's helping a bunch of people. And the thing is that we realize that an applicant tracking software is not like an accounting or payroll software. See, every 5-person company, even if like, let's say you have 4 or 5 or 10 people working with you, you definitely need a payroll software. You definitely need an accounting software. But for the next 6 months, if you're not hiring a single person, you really need an applicant tracking software. So what we started realizing is that our customers that were doubling down and growing with us, and where 90% of the product feedback was coming, they were not these small companies. They were like mid-sized companies, like 30 to 500 plus employees. And all of them had a budget to do this well, 5,000 a year, 10,000 a year. So long story short, what we realized is it's not just about charging more money or moving up market, but what we realized is who is our customer? Who do we really exist for? And who are we solving the problem for? And those guys are people, if we keep charging them $100 a month, we will go out of business. And there aren't 100,000 of those guys.
Yeah. So Raj, what are you, kind of close this story out so we can get as much in as possible. So what are the folks currently paying on average per month, would you say?
Per month, they're currently paying about $250. That's where it's moved up to. And it's all annual plans mostly.
Got it. So $250 annual plans. So they're paying, on average, was that $3,000 a year?
$3 to $5,000 a year is where most of the payments will be.
That makes a lot of sense. And again, totally bootstrapped currently. What you mentioned that you wouldn't raise unless there was like a clear thing you've already figured out and you know where you would spend it. Are you doing any paid marketing right now? And if so, kind of what is your fully weighted CAC?
Yeah. We spend about 50% of this $3,000 a year on our CAC. That's our customer acquisition cost. It's $1,500 per customer.
Okay.
And again, most of these guys are paying us $3,000 upfront. They're not paying us month on month.
So you have an instant payback period.
Yeah, we do. And our sales cycles are also quite short. They are between 3 and 6 weeks is the range, right? So you can say that it's about like a month, the sales cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer your question, we're spending about $30,000 a month on paid marketing.
Got it. And where are you spending that?
It's split pretty evenly between Google AdWords and Capterra.
Interesting.
Capterra is the listing that comes up number one on any kind of search for tools.
Yeah, Capterra. Now, have you gone into like G2 Crowd and some of these other kind of Capterra competitors or no?
So Capterra, GetApp, and Software Advice all merged with each other. They are all owned by Gartner. So we are obviously on those three properties. We are dabbling with the other ones, but we don't find them to be as high volume for our purposes as Capterra and AdWords.
Interesting. So let me ask you another question. Because your CAC is currently $1,500 or about 50% of your first year ACV, and all of your plans are annual, so you get the cash up front, you're getting paid back instantly plus $1,500 on average on profit per account. Why not? Why not? I mean, I'm not saying you should, by the way. I just want to understand your reasoning. Why not be more aggressive on where you spend money? We are. You're with me. We are going up as we go. So so I'll break it down. What happens? First, so just think of it as a production line, right? First, we optimize the funnel, like the ads and the landing pages. Why aren't we getting more than so many people requesting the demo? Then the second point, our SDRs are just trying to do a better job of qualifying the demos and getting more people to demos. So we fix that part of the funnel. Now we are fixing the conversion part of the funnel. So our math is that worst case, we should be doing a 20% conversion. Actually, our target is 25% conversion, meaning when our account executive, our salesperson is on a demo, 1 in 4 of them should go to one of these $3,000 plans, right? As soon as we have this working predictably, which pretty much we sort of do right now, we're doubling down. How many SDRs do you have, and what's your total team size? We have 2 SDRs and 2 AEs, and we want to feed 40 demos per AE per month, and all this spend right now is getting us about 80 demos, which, to be honest, which we don't like. I'm kind of sharing this on this podcast, but it's kind of an embarrassing number for me because when I talk to some other people, some people are getting double the demos of the same spend, but that's okay. It's not apples to apples, and every product category is different. To answer your question quickly, we're going to double down on our budget. We're going to add 2 more A's, go from 80 to 160, do more ads. But here's the kicker, though. It's not that if you start spending 60,000, you'll get twice as much demos. And this is where it gets interesting because the efficiency of ads tapers off over time and over dollar amounts. So it's not like 30 plus 30 is 60 and 60 plus 60 is 120. It doesn't add up that way.
And that's what concerns us slightly. So what we're also making some pricing changes. We took a lot of that money. When you say profitable, not really. We have a moving break-even point because we're investing a lot in product and design and engineering. And there's so much to do on the product.
But Raj, why? So you said you're not happy with the current 80 demos. You're driving your I think you said you had 2 AEs and 2 SDRs. So, and you just told me you're going to double down on this. And the first thing you said is we're going to go hire 2 more AEs. But wouldn't you want to increase the demo demand first and then hire the AEs to service the demo demand? Why are you hiring first?
No. So that would be the chronology. Maybe I misspoke or the point got lost. Yeah, we would first go. In fact, the math is that only when we are consistently hitting 120, consistently hitting over 100 demos, we'll add that third AE.
Yep.
Consistently hitting over 140 demos, we'll add that fourth AE. So we will let it break at the seams a little bit.
That's right.
But it has to be repeatable.
And that 1,500 you told me, that is a fully weighted CAC, right? That includes the salespeople and your paid spend.
Exactly. Paid ads, SDR, sales commission, everything.
What does churn look like right now?
So on the annual plans, churn is less than 1%. So that's
all your plans are annual, right?
Well, but I'm still carrying more than 1,500 customers on the little monthly plans. So I track both the churns. Remember, like for the first 4.5, 5 years, I had completely that self-serve business.
But now, just to be clear, you're only signing up $3,000 annual plans.
Only.
Okay.
You see it on our pricing page as well. Yes.
So what is churn again?
Less than 1%.
And that's logo or revenue?
That's revenue.
Revenue churn less than 1%, and that's monthly or annually?
That's monthly cumulative.
Monthly. And so what is it annually?
We just did this math last quarter. Year over year, we had like 90%, 89% that we retain 89% of the customers. So
yep, makes a lot.
Again, sorry, the 89% again is on a total level, including the monthly guys.
Yeah. Why don't you churn all the monthly ones out? Like, why don't you put up a pricing page that says, "Hey, we're growing. We have to move to an annual plan. You're not the right fit for us. Go use these other 3 competitors who are great fits for you." So you can just stop worrying about those guys.
I know, but we feel bad about it. It's not a great business answer. Some of these people have been with us for 5 years. It's a snow plowing service in upstate New York, a church in Texas. I don't want to do that to them. A lot of people have given me advice that you're stupid. You should just you don't have any expansion revenue on them either. It's static. This is not how you do SaaS. I know. We kind of made them a promise 6 years ago. Now I don't want to go back on it.
Well, just to help them get what you delivered 6 years ago doesn't mean throwing them out in the wind. Helping them get on a competitor that is meant for a self-serve model is a great option too. And when you force that decision, you might be surprised that some of them actually go up to your $3,000 plan. But you haven't really pushed that, huh?
We have pushed that at the seams, but so here's where maybe some people get to hate me on this podcast. The competitors suck. I mean, in the self-serve category, I think we are the best product. In my current category, I'll be open enough to say that there are some great products, and we are actually facing stiff competition. When you're in the valley, we are competing with things like Lever. Okay, when you are outside in the world, if we see more European customers, we're competing with Workable sometimes. There are a couple new people on the block. I forget the names, one of it. But again, there are options. That's what I'm trying to say. Like in the mid-market, there are a lot of options. In the lower end of the market, there aren't easy options. There are incomplete options.
Mm-hmm. That makes good sense. And what are you at today now in terms of total customers on the platform? Is it, you said about 2,200?
2,100 plus.
2,100, great. And how many of those are on your segment you want to be on?
About 500.
500. Okay, great. Good stuff, man. Let's wrap up here with the... Oh, wait, all right. Sorry, did you say, what's your team size today and where are you guys all based?
We have 35. The product engineering team is in India, along with my 2 co-founders. And we have about all the custom marketing, sales, customers, operations teams are here in the US. and they spread across the US, East Coast, CST, and West Coast.
All right, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. These are quick answers. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Ooh, which one am I reading? The Everything Store, which I read. Jeff Bezos, Amazon.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying currently?
Elon Musk.
Number 3, besides your own, what's your favorite online tool?
Gusto, my payroll software.
That's a good one. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
7.
And what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
Married, no kids.
No kids. And how old are you?
36.
36. All right, Raj, take us back 16 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I shouldn't have gone to undergrad school, and I should have taken gone and built like hardware engineering or aeronautical engineering. I went to school for business, or I should have gone to acting school.
There you guys have it from Raj. Skip the undergrad degree, do something else, jump in faster. He launched his company in 2011. They're now past 2,100 paying customers. Totally bootstrapped, did about 30 grand in year 1. That was 2011. Grew to about $1 million in 2014. Passed about 2.7 million December 2016. Now in the kind of 5-ish, 6-ish million in ARR range. Each customer paying about $250 a month. Their churn, their retention is about 89% year over year. Paying about $1,500 to acquire a $3,000 ACV customer. Payback is immediate. With their team of 35 folks in India and remote across the United States, they are helping make recruiting not suck. Raj, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening.